Felix here, and today is probably the most jam-packed day with information that we've had in a very long time. So much information that Winston had to lie down. And there he is, the Winston cam is live. And I want to walk you through 12. I know it's a lot, but this is important. And I want to make sure that you are as well informed as the lot on Wall Street is, because they get these briefings every day, and you typically don't, because they think retail investors, well, the less they know, the better. That's how we make money out of them. On the sort of devious side of Wall Street, let me also just shock you slightly with the pre-market here. Ouch, it's pretty hard to find anything green in here today. Now, 4 p.m. today, of course, we have a little tea party in the Rose Garden at the White House where the Donald will announce tariffs, which Bloomberg has described as either really high universally on everybody or selective on certain industries, or a bit more specific, as in we haven't got the freaking idea, which is why I canceled my Bloomberg subscription yesterday. So this is going to be a little bit more insightful than what Bloomberg puts out there. So let me run you through it. I made literally an index for it, so a table of contents, so we will remember it. We're looking right now at the fastest selling of stocks in 5 years, right? There are some big recession signals that I want you to understand, so you can weigh them off. And actually answer, like, are tech stocks already in a bear market? Yes or no? What do you think? Do you think they're bear market? If you think they're a bear market, put bear in the chat. And what's actually driving the market right now? And what are the wealthy buying? The private banking clients, the guys with, $3, $5, $10 million plus. What are they buying? What are they selling? I'll show you that. Real genuine insight here. And what should you buy today? Right? Isn't that the question everyone's asking? Should I buy something? Should I sell? Is it too early? Is it too late? I'll answer that for you as well. And it gets even better. A lot of bears here. Would it be useful to know what the banks are buying? Yeah. That'd be useful to you. That'd be useful to you. Write useful in the chat down below. And then I'll show you what stocks are the cheapest they've been in 10 years. And a lot of these stocks. These are important ones. And then I'll show you just the one thing that matters. So we could have maybe just reduced the list from 12 to just the one, but actually that 9th item wouldn't make any sense to you unless you knew everything else above. And I'll tell you, well, Nvidia will disappoint you. And, that's going to be controversial, isn't it? But hear me out first before you, kind of go nuts and try to set me on fire. And then there is the one chart that you are going to want to see. And then in addition, this is our bonus. We just got some big jobs data in. And if you look under the hood of that jobs data, not just the headlines, the dummy noise that mainstream media prints, you see something that will shock you. That's a promise. Right. Anything else we forgot? Winston, have we forgotten anything? I think he says we're on track. So Winston's the one thing that matters, absolutely that. And of course, destroying the like button, because if you do that at the beginning of this video, more people will get shown this information, and therefore more people will be better informed, and therefore more people will make better decisions today, and therefore hopefully more people will get to their financial freedom nirvana faster, which is my ambition here. So we've seen the fastest selling of tech stocks. Well, I say in 5 years. There was last year when Japan imploded. Okay, so maybe not quite fastest, but one of the fastest, faster than 2021. That's pretty significant, right? So they are running for the hills. And are they right? Well, I'll answer that in the 6th point for you, because they have some logic here. Now, here's a big recession signal: auto repossessions. So if you don't pay your car leasing, eventually someone's going to knock on your door and take it away, unless it's a Tesla, in which case they'll just set it on fire. And it'd be cheaper to tow the thing. And of course, I'm joking. We're literally at the highest levels of car seizures, and I'm not talking about the loony nutters who think that Tesla drivers are evil, but generally out there since 2009, which, if you remember, was the global financial crisis. That's pretty extraordinary, right? So there are obviously a lot of people out there who are actually feeling some genuine pain. Otherwise, they wouldn't do that. Now, I asked you this. and a lot of you wrote bear. Are tech stocks in a bear market? Yup. It's 20%, isn't it the definition? I think it's minus 20% and you're in a bear market. And screenshot here from Trade Vision. And yeah, from up here to where we are right here, right now, we are 21% down. Ouch, right? It's pretty... Actually, this is all magnificent 7 stocks. So across the whole top 7 stocks, they are officially in a bear market. And we come back to that because, so bear that in mind. Maybe make a note so you remember it, but we come back to that. What actually drives the market? Any takers on what drives the market? What's the most important thing that's been driving the market the last, year or so? Anybody? Put it in the chat down below. So in control is Winston. Winston's controlling everything. He's the guy manipulating the market. You can tell, right? He's just thinking about it. He's like, what stock am I going to crash today? There we go. So sentiments are Scott. Yeah, that's pretty good. Trump, Elon, stability. That's pretty good. Liquidity, fear. Yeah, me. I wish. Winston, of course. Yes, sentiment, buybacks. There's a lot of very insightful stuff in here. And you guys are kind of all right. Mostly you're right. Retail, no, Jörg, I would disagree with you on that one, but there's a lot of stuff that you're putting in here, that's right. But what I was trying to come to with this particular chart is that the market has been entirely driven by the MAG 7 stocks. The top 7 stocks caused the entire rally last year. And right now, this year, they're down 15%. Now, without the MAG 7, the rest of the market, so the S&P 493 is at 0%. Hasn't moved one bit. The only reason you're feeling pain is because you are heavily invested in tech stocks. Just sorry to break it to you. So what does that mean? Well, it means our sort of champion, our favorite quarterback is out, and that's why we're falling here. So it isn't just that the whole economy is collapsing. It isn't that everything is going down. It's just the tech stocks, the big tech boys are coming down particularly. Now, what are the wealthy buying and selling? This is from Bank of America's, so B of A, from their private clients data, just out today. And in blue, in the sort of turquoisey blue, the bright blue, they're telling you what they're selling. So what are they selling? Well, they're selling tech. Not surprising, given that that's what's falling the most. They're selling industrials, because they're just generally freaking out. Weirdly, they're selling utilities, communication services, which is generally also tech. So what are they buying? Well, they're buying ETFs. Maybe they're listening, because I've been saying that's probably the safest thing to buy for the last week or so. And they're buying energy. Now, why the heck would you buy energy? Well, if you look at the sort of market cycles, and there is a pattern to this, right? As we go from boom towards bust, what's going on with the pen here? And if you're thinking about something else rather than bust, then something wrong with you. As you go down into the bust territory, the very large round bust territory, what happens? Well, at that moment, energy stocks do well. It's just a cyclical trade. So if you understand the patterns of the market, you can do what the richest Bank of America clients do, and you can buy energy stocks in the right moment. Financials are also part of that trade. As we come off the growth thing and we slow down, financials and energy is generally speaking where you want to put your money again, right? Now, does that make some sense to you? If that makes some sense, do you put a right bust in the chat? Now, less than 10% of you have found the like button so far. Is that a verdict on Winston's performance so far, Winston? He doesn't seem too phased, does he? He doesn't really live for likes. Scott writes, boobies, indeed. What do the 2 bar chart colors mean? The lighter one is the average of the last 4 weeks. The brighter one is last week. So I'm focusing here mostly on last week because it's more recent data. Yeah, that's making some bust sense to you. Brilliant, love it. Melons, everything, Fraser, absolutely fantastic. I'm glad you guys are as silly as me. So what should you buy today? Some of you know what I'm going to say, don't you? I'm going to say, before you buy anything at all, learn the rules that the most successful investors out there use to decide what they buy and when they buy. There are only 3. You can learn them in 15 minutes and you will be smarter, better informed, and you'll be able to make better decisions with your money for the rest of your life. That's literally the promise and the premise. And if you want to learn that, I'll give it to you for free, because that's our mission here. Our mission is to make 1 million people financially free. That's what we want to do. Isn't that, Winston? Isn't that what we want to do? Strangely, again, he doesn't seem that keen and interested, does he? He's just thinking we could be in the park. We could be chasing balls or melons. So if you're going to go and learn, instead of panicking or worrying, and in all seriousness, if you're going to watch like the news today and the headlines and all the reactions and what everyone screams and shouts about, depending on what side of the aisle, you happen to vote on this week, it's a complete waste of your life. Don't do it. Forget it. All that noise is only going to do one thing. It's going to make you lose money. So if you want to actually make money, learn the skills, ignore the noise. That's what we do. So felixprehn.org/get free. So we can get access to that. I'll put the link in the chat for you as well. There it is. And you guys can learn, right? So go and learn. Who's going to learn? If you're going to learn, write learn in the chat as well to incentivize the others. If you already learned as well, or if you're already learning with us, then also write learn in the chat, and more people will be inspired to follow suit. Would it be good to know what the banks are buying? It would be, wouldn't it? Now, what the heck does this chart show? Why did I put that in here? I have no idea. This is mega cap tech. PE ratio the next 4 quarters. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm loving all the learns here, by the way, guys. If I manage to confuse myself, it happens quite frequently. So what's that saying to you? This is a chart that's very, very easy to understand. Look at the description. Best PE ratio next 4 quarters, GSTMT mega cap tech over S&P 500 index 1.14. This is why bankers have no friends, because they put out charts like this. So what the heck does that say to you? These are mega, not MAGA, mega tech stocks. So the big tech stocks, right? So this is basically big tech, right? We know what that means. And how are they trading compared to the profits we're expecting? So basically, mega tech stock price divided by profits for next year. Okay? Profits next year. So it's a way of looking at us. Are these stocks expensive or are they cheap, right? Well, we're down here. Let me draw a horizontal line across. And you see that the big tech stocks are cheaper than they have been for 10 years. They are the cheapest they have been for 10 years. And it might therefore make you think, well, this is what Goldman Sachs is sending out to their big clients. Maybe they're trying to send us a signal. Maybe after the Rose Garden party today, Liberation Day, Volatility Day, Trump Day, maybe we should buy some big tech because they're the cheapest they've been in 10 years. Right? Something to think about. Something to think about, right? Now, again, kind of the same information, but giving you a different perspective on this. The Magnificent Seven outperform the market. Why do the big tech stocks outperform the market? Because they are better companies. They're better run. They got better products. They got better margins. They just have a better team. They're better at selling. They're better at distributing it. They're just better. And they are not crazily expensive right now. That's the price, basically. And our expectation of profit is the dark blue line. And I know these idiots at Goldman Sachs keep making charts with blue and blue, but you can see that the stock price in light blue follows the profit So why the heck are we selling off? Right? Something bad happened in the economy? Jobs data terrible? We just got some great jobs data, and I'll show it to you in a second, right? There is no catastrophe at this point that is affecting the big tech stocks. Support and resistance as an issue this morning, Scott. Okay, appreciate you letting me know that, Scott. We will get onto that. We've been battling a little bit with our gremlins on the tech side since Thursday on Trade Vision. I appreciate you guys' patience with us while we fix it. There is a thing with sometimes just more and more users tend to like break things you didn't expect to break, and then obviously we're fixing it. Now, all that matters is not actually the tariffs. Yeah, the tariffs will come and we'll get over it. I actually don't think they're that big a deal, to be honest with you. It's a big deal today, and after that, we're going to get hopefully some more clarity. It might take another few weeks. But what really matters is the earnings of the big tech companies. Right? I think Netflix is one of the earliest ones to report. And I'm showing you this because a lot of people think, well, Nvidia is just going to keep growing and growing and growing and growing. And yes, they will, but at slower and slower rates. So they grew last quarter at 78% year over year. Next quarter will be less. The quarter after that will be less, and the quarter after that will be less growth, and the quarter after that will be less growth. Still staggering growth, 50% for such a large company, but you can see it's going to get a little bit less exciting. Right? So it's something to bear in mind that the growth trajectory is sort of, we're basically here. So it's going to flatten out. Right? If I could spell here, I can't spell here. You see, it's a proper four-letter word. Ex-banker, what can I say? So again, bear that in mind when you get really exuberant about the AI thing. You got to look at the companies where this is priced in rather than the companies where this isn't priced in. This might also explain why the Nvidia stock hasn't really done anything in a year, because people are expecting slower growth. Now, so that was why Nvidia will disappoint. I slightly mislabeled that, right? But this here is the information, and it's a little fuzzy because that's the highest quality I could get, but I'll zoom in on it for you, and feel free to take a screenshot here. 1, 2, 3, swipe, or double click, or whatever you do. And then we scroll down, and once again here, 1, 2, 3, swipe, click to screenshot it. And really all you need is not the text on the right, but here, the sentiment. This is from Goldman Sachs, right? The smartest investment bankers out there. What do they think is going to do well right now? What's the sentiment on their trading desk? And what is actually green? The only thing green in tech is telcos and cable. In financials, it's insurance. We're seeing insurance companies break out. In healthcare, it's healthcare services. Again, you might write these down. Write these down. This is gold dust. In industrials, it's A&D. And in energy, it's the energy majors and E and P. And you can obviously Google which stocks fall into that. If you can read it, they are, they're listing some of them in here, but I appreciate the writing is a little bit fuzzy. But this is very useful. This gives you a live insight into the trading desks of one of the most powerful banks in the world. So you get like an inside peek, which you usually wouldn't get because we are mere retail traders and investors, right? Right, then let me cheer you up, because this isn't going to cheer you up, is it? Why did you show us this again? Stop it. Take it away. Winston, do something about it. There we go. He's stretching out now. That's cute. You're quite comfortable there, Winston. He's quite comfortable, isn't he? Yes. I have to zoom out a little bit so we can see the whole Winston in his glory. He looks pretty happy, doesn't it? So Winston's happy. Are you happy? Well, let me make you happy too. Okay. Scott, the dreaded S-curve. Yeah, I think you're right there. Scott's basically saying black will replace the hopper. I mean, I think it's part of that, because if you grow at 60% at the scale of Nvidia, it's extraordinarily difficult to do. And even 50%, which was the forecast for like basically in 2 or 3 quarters time, is extraordinarily difficult to pull off. No company grows at 200% forever. Like, it just doesn't. It's just near impossible to do, because to go from, you know, 1 million to 3 million, it's fairly easy, right? To go from 100 million to 1 billion, it's reasonably easy. To go from 1 billion to 10 billion, still possible, but to go from 10 billion to 100 billion, that becomes very, very hard. And from 100 billion, how do you grow there, right? It's like, yeah, you're gonna get some new clients in. Now you're bringing in 110 billion. That's only growing at 10%. So that's the challenge, just as you get bigger and bigger and bigger, to find customers, new customers that are that size, right? Winston looks exhausted, but he should. That's always my goal. I always think dogs should be utterly exhausted at the end of the day. That's how they have a good day. So, all right. Trump tariffs 1.0. We've been here before. Do you remember this? Do you remember this story and how it turned out in 2018? The president was already in there. And what happened? Well, he announced tariffs. The market cratered quite significantly, about 10% or so, about 10%, which is where we are right now. And then this time around, guess what? Same thing. Market's cratering, just a little bit more generously than last time around. And then in 2018, we kind of came to the realization, hey, there is life after tariffs. We can deal with this. Companies are agile. Companies are versatile. Companies are going to source somewhere else. Someone's going to, you know, fudge some paperwork. I'm not suggesting that, but that probably happens somewhere out there. And it'll just be fine. And it'll be the same with this thing. The US economy will still be there. Microsoft will still be, you know, selling average software to the unassuming, and all that kind of stuff will still happen. People are still going to wake up and buy a car and drive to work and pay for gas and go for dinner and put their kids to school and all the kind of normal things people do. And we'll get a Starbucks on the way. So none of that's really going to change just because there are tariffs. So I think, generally speaking, the whole thing is a bit overblown. And Trump is a master manipulator of the media and attention. He's very, very good at this. So even yesterday, we were like, well, what time is the event? Like, nobody knew because they hadn't announced yet. So every single thing he does is to keep you on the tenterhooks and to keep you like guessing. That's his style. That's his, you know, how he gets attention, and that's how he negotiates. So what I'd say to you is, don't let them lull you into that, because you're going to waste your life watching every single detail. You don't need to know the thing live. Just watch for the reaction, which you can learn simply by looking at one single stock chart, which will tell you absolutely everything you need to know. And that stock chart is the VIX stock chart here, which I'm showing you in Trade Vision, software that we built so you can see it. Right now, fear, which is what VIX is up 7 percentage points today, right? April 2nd. So you know what is happening right now. Market's fearful. You can go back to sleep. Okay, all the details don't really matter. It doesn't really matter if he hits Mexico or Peru or Panama or, you know, whatever, like with this percentage. Who cares? All you need to know is basically that headline number. That's really what I'd be looking at. Now, what tariff number will make the market rip? There are these numbers out there. I've seen them from all the banks. They're all just freaking guessing. No one's got any fucking idea, because the devil is in the detail, right? He can announce 20% on Mexico, and then Mexico rings up 3 hours later and says, come on, I'm going to send you some guacamole. Let's make peace. And then it'll be fine. And it's the same for everything. So what is getting announced today, which apparently takes effect today, may not be there tomorrow. So really, it's just a question of like, at what point do we get clarity on this? At what point are people coming to agreements? That could be days, could be weeks. The longer it takes, the longer the market will go sideways or down. If he comes in with a really sort of weak set of tariffs, then yes, perceived weak, that would be good. Or if there are so many exceptions in there because all the special interest groups, you know, leaned on them a little bit, that would actually also be good for the market in the short term. Long term, that's a whole nother story. Depends on which way you lean toward with tariffs. Now, let me show you something that actually, okay, if you hate Trump, you're going to hate this, because the whole Trump thing is built around, whoops, what are we doing? The whole Trump thing is built around bringing jobs back and bringing manufacturing back, right? And for the first time since 2022, we're seeing significant gains in manufacturing jobs and people being hired in manufacturing. And that would imply that there is actually growth in manufacturing. And apparently there's actually a shortage. I mean, you think about it, like if you got to onshore your car manufacturing, your shipbuilding, all that kind of stuff, that needs a lot of people, right? I read this morning that apparently shipbuilders in the US are looking for 100,000 people to employ, and they don't know where to find them because most people are not doing those jobs. So this could actually be an early indicator of Trump's successes, right? Not saying it necessarily is, but the data is sort of pointing a little bit in that direction. And then the second thing is, this is also very, very good news for the market today, and the market isn't paying any attention because the market is just running around like a headless chicken, which is why these numbers don't really tell you that much. This number tells you about the headless chickens here on the VIX. The pay increases are coming down. And that's a good thing because this means less inflation, because jobs inflation is the real inflation we're worried about, because that becomes a sort of flywheel, right? Andrew says, why did the market like it when money was printed? Because that money goes and buys assets, buys stocks. Money always wants the maximum return it can get for the lowest risk possible. So it goes and buys stocks and real estate and everything else, which is why all asset prices went up. So if you want to make the poor really poor, you print lots of money. It's like the most unfair thing in the world because it's the asset rich who are going to benefit from it, right? It's the wealthy who are going to benefit from it. So it was a really odd policy. Outstanding here says, my dad works at a parts manufacturer for major auto companies. They've been ramping up over the past few weeks, adding shifts. Okay, brilliant. That's good. That's good news. That's good news. That means, you know, the economy is resilient. So what are smart people doing here right now? They're not running out and buying stuff blindly. They're actually learning the rules. Like these red days in the market are the days where you don't feel good. And I love that you are tuning in and you're showing up because you want to understand it better. I really appreciate you for that. But understanding what's happening today, understanding the tariffs, isn't really going to help you make better decisions. It's just going to give you the feeling of being better informed, and that can be a good thing. It might help you spot the occasional opportunity, but ultimately it's about the underlying rules. If you don't have the rules, you don't have the foundation. It doesn't matter what you put on top of them. It's going to collapse. It's going to slide down. And most people are paying huge, huge tuition to Mr. Market, right? How much money are you losing unnecessarily? Right? How much money have you lost unnecessarily over the last couple of years? This is free, by the way. Right? It's part of my thing to give you guys what you need to know. You need to know this. So if you're going to go and learn, again, write learn in the chat if you're going to do that. And I saw this one here just on Twitter. I thought this was quite a nice one. I think this is very appropriate for today, even though the graphic design is something we could debate. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. You get more of what you focus on. So if you're focusing on today being scared about tariffs, if you're focusing on today that you hate Elon or Trump or this politician, you're freaked out about the Wisconsin election or the potential war in Iran or Yemen or, you know, God knows where, or Russia or Ukraine or whatever it is you're going to be upset about, immigration or, you know, 1,000 things you can get upset about. You're going to get more of that energy. Okay. Is that going to help you? Is that going to drive you and bring you to where you want to be? Right? You got to ask yourself that. And if the answer to that is no, then, you know, like Winston, right? He knows what he's focusing on, right? He's, I don't know, what is he focusing on? I think the door. He's hoping someone will come in with some food, probably. But what I would focus on, and what I focus on every single day, and I do literally, I go to bed every day. I have a calendar, like just a blank calendar book, one page for every day. And I write in it what I did that day and what I'm happy about and what I'm grateful for and some thoughts on what I want to do better tomorrow. And then I wake up in the morning and I look at that and I go, I know exactly what I'm doing today to make myself better. And that can be becoming a better money manager, be better at your job or your business or relationships or parent or, you know, more cuddles for your golden retriever, or, whatever it might be that makes the world a little bit of a better place. And if you focus on that, boom, growth happens. Because I used to be the guy who was permanently stuck in, being busy and being tired and working really hard and all of that. And then I got out of that rat race. I set my money to work and got myself retired in my early 40s and enjoy life. And I've got a hobby, which is sharing a lot of this information with you. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you guys finding this useful and taking action. That's what I really appreciate. Most people, just listen, there's loads of them. But the smart people, the reasonable people, they understand they got to put in a little bit of work to learn, right? Everything has got to be learned, whether that's a skill, a sport or any kind of skill. You got to put in a little bit of effort, and then you get tremendous returns from that, right? Tremendous returns from that. Like the joy you get from, I don't know, when I was little, I learned to play tennis, right? My granddad was a big tennis player and didn't enjoy it when I was little. But now I love playing tennis with friends. It's amazing. So you kind of reap the rewards a little bit later. So you got to put in a little bit of work, a little bit of practice. And that's really what I want to encourage you to do. So click on that link down below, felixfriends.org/get-free. I've also pinned it to the chat, and go away and learn. And now we're going to look at some depressing stock charts together. Shall we do that? Gotta have the attitude of gratitude. Yeah, I think it's a really important thing. And sometimes it's tough, right? Sometimes, everybody has a shitty day sometimes where things just didn't work out the way they wanted, or, it happens. Like for me, it's pretty good usually, but I employ, I don't know, 60, 70 people or something. And sometimes you hire somebody and you put some faith in them and they let you down. Happens occasionally, not that often, thankfully. And that kind of pisses me off. And you then really got to refocus your energy towards like, well, okay, move that aside. That isn't going to hold me back. Tomorrow, I want to focus on where do I want to get to? What do I want to do, right? And I think for most of that is just delivering for ourselves and our families. I think that's our jobs. Most of us here are guys, right? Probably 95%, judging from the statistics I see. And it's our job to look after people. I strongly believe that. And the only way you do that is by having that clear mind, having that clear head, and spending a little bit of every day getting better. Can be 10 minutes, can be 15 minutes. That video I've got down below, felixfriends.org/get-free, it's 15 minutes. It used to be 45 minutes. And I appreciate a lot of people struggle to pay attention for 45 minutes because you guys are busy. So I made it 15, right? It's just the core info that you really, really need. And hopefully that's going to be useful for you. So let's look at some depressing stock charts then to make the world a better place. Palantir is down 1.3%. Big problem, yay or nay? Well, no, not really. It's above the $80 support. It's just sort of limping a little bit sideways. We just want to make sure we don't break below the kind of 80 there. What about SoFi? Basically going sideways. Not a pretty chart really, but again, no real change compared to the last 2 or 3 days. Then we have Tesla, which is just a mess, an absolute mess right now, another 5.5%. China deliveries were 11% down. That isn't brilliant. So, yeah, I think it's delivery numbers really, which are disappointing. A very, very competitive market, China right now, and not necessarily the fastest growing economy either. So that's another 5% down. What else have we got? Anything else to depress ourselves with? Nvidia. Nvidia is down 2.2%. Is there anything that's going up, by the way? I mean, I've stopped looking because I don't think it's the time to be hunting for breakouts. Winston's in the way. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I thought I turned him off. That wasn't the intention. That he blocks the charts completely. Now, someone's here saying, warm-ups, why is the free tutorial getting so much promo in every video? It's kind of the point of the channel, my friend. We want to spread financial information. We want to spread financial education, not information, education. And it's completely free. There's no strings attached. You can, if you want to, learn from me and my mentors, right? That's a paid for service because we got to pay all those ex-bankers. But you don't have to. You can just come and absorb all the 95% of stuff we give for free and learn and get better. And then if you want to get serious about it one day, maybe you'll come and learn from us, but you don't have to. So literally yesterday, it was one breakout yesterday. It just goes to show our breakout scanner. Usually there's like 10 or 20 on that list, and we have to like go and find the good one. One yesterday, some wacky health company. So there really isn't a lot of positivity out there right now. Let's have a look at dark pools. Actually, let's have a look at that. Okay, this is from the end of yesterday. We haven't got any big trades yet in today. Have we got any big trades in yet? Obviously, the market is open, but no, not yet. Seems the big boys are still asleep. But yeah, look at some of these trades. So there's Tesla, Nvidia, and you see they're all red, right? So these are bearish trades. But let me just look at the large ones. That's usually what I care about the most. And there was a little bit of positivity, a little bit of bullishness yesterday, and I thought I saw that actually in the data. There was a little bit of optimism, but still also a lot of red. Like the red stuff's obviously bearish. And I mean, no one in their right mind is going to go all in today on something bullish unless you know, have an inside track into the White House, which I would not trust because Trump might change his mind at the last minute, right? Okay, somebody wants to look at Archer? Sure. Chris, appreciate you. I'm glad you're getting value out of this. Archer is at $7, which is the support line. So we're not loving that. It's a little bit too close to it. Newsmax, yeah, that's a weird one. I mean, that's just a meme stock. It really is. It's trading at some crazy valuation. Why can't I open that? Newsmax. What is it? NMAX. Sounds like an oil tanker, doesn't it? There we go. It's up some extraordinary amount. It started. Let me measure. It started down here. It went. Hello. Can I measure this? Apparently not. No, apparently not. But yeah, it started at $11. It went to 267. Now it's at 143. Stay the heck away. That's what I'd say. There is. I thought whether there might be options on this so we could short the bloody thing, but there aren't. So not a lot we can do with this, to be honest with you. Options not offered. So no, nothing we can really do with this. Just do nothing. Oh, there is my little thing. Palantir is flying, is it? Oh, yeah. Nice rebound there, 1.22%. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's nice. Very nice. Okay, that's more like it, isn't it? So watch out for the low being higher than yesterday's. The high is already higher than yesterday's. So that's looking a little bit optimistic there. Options not offered. It's just too small, I guess. And I mean, who wants to underwrite that? You need a market maker on the other side to make an options market, and I guess even they don't want to touch this. Did Orange speak already? If you're referring to the Commander-in-Chief and President of the United States of America, then no. 4 p.m. apparently he's going to be found in a rose bush somewhere near the White House. Dr. Nee says 3K watching, I'm being educated. Appreciate that. And 700 of you smashed the like button, which is actually a pretty decent ratio considering how the market is right now. Gold, yeah, gold is flying. Continues to fly. GLD, which is the gold ETF, is trading at 288, which is almost an all-time high, almost. SoFi green too, really? It is. Okay, we're going to have to go over to the dark side and look at Doomberg. Any positive news that we should be aware of? No, they're just spreading the love and the misery over there. Let me see. I've got another little thing open over here. Okay, apparently the US Treasury is reporting that an across-the-board tariff is not going to be as high as the 20% universal tariff option. So they're stepping a little bit back from the ledge there. And apparently Secretary Bessent, US Treasury Secretary Bessent told lawmakers that tariffs are a cap. So they're a high point. They're not necessarily the actual tariff. And Canada said they're going to avoid counter tariffs that would risk Canadian jobs. Okay, so the moose are faltering. And the French said Europe will respond to Trump tariffs in a proportionate manner. And then he threw a cigarette in the street, and he said, you are the dirt underneath my soul. That last part, I don't think he actually said that. So people are caving a little bit, aren't they? And that's a good thing. We want people to cave, because quite frankly, most of these countries can't really win against Trump on this one. Whether you like it or not, that's just the reality. So Winston started. Winston, have you started buying? Did you call your broker again? Did you? Winston. Dr. Nee says, knowing your rules gives us all a lifelong tools and helps us not to react in fear. And I appreciate that, Dr. Nee. That's precisely what the intention is here. Gee, Jared, you want to drink with Felix? It'll be that'll all be tea and water. I'm a total teetotaler. I don't drink anymore at all. Funny, really, because I have an alcohol business. It's kind of ironic, really. But no, I stopped drinking about 5 years ago, I think. Not that I was an alcoholic or anything, but I used to drink, especially for work. But no, I haven't had a drink in probably about 5 years. Makes you feel so good. That's really why I do it. I just feel so much more clear. So some of our favorite tech stocks are recovering a little bit here. Palantir in the green. Let's have a look at Tesla. There must be something that's gloomy this morning. Yeah, it's still down 4.5%. Bit of an improvement, but still down 4.5%. Oh, yeah. GAC juice. Yes, that too. That's expensive though. Champagne is cheaper. Did you vote in Germany, Alex? No, you can't vote in Germany once you leave the country, I think, for 7 years or something. They remove your right to vote. Which is actually probably fair enough. I haven't lived there in like 25 years, more actually, 30 years maybe. So why should I get a say in it? But no, I don't. Just because you have a passport doesn't mean you get to vote. What's your favorite tea? It really depends. Really depends. Go-to is probably a good Earl Grey, but I also like green teas. I like white teas and red teas, and I've spent a lot of time in Asia. There's a lot of amazing teas in Japan, China, Taiwan. A lot of places make very, very good tea around here. So different things for different styles. That's funny. Biden lets everybody vote. Yeah, I know. But no, in Germany, you have to be registered. You can't just show up and vote. Maybe you can. I don't know. Maybe if you're a Syrian, maybe you get to vote. I actually don't think they do, in fairness. Mushroom tea. Ryan, 15 years without a drink. Congratulations, my friend. Feels good, doesn't it? Do you still speak German? Yeah, I don't think you really forget it. It depends a little bit what I talk about. So if it's something very like what I learned in English, so like financial stuff, all my knowledge is in English, so it's saved in English, so then to explain it in German is tedious. But general conversations I can just about muster. Now, hibiscus tea is amazing. Fresh hibiscus tea is amazing. Really amazing. Yeah, that's fantastic stuff. Dark pulver Palantir, right? I'll give you a sneak preview, my friend. Although if you want to get access to that, you can literally just go into Trade Vision. The link is down below, and you can pull it up yourself. Palantir does not have massive trades usually. There are some big ones. These are all pretty bearish and pretty big. This was yesterday, the day before. Nothing big yet today so far. How do you dream in German? No, English, just because I left Germany when I was 15. So, and then I learned English. So in the UK, so it's been kind of that. So there are two brains in there. One is German, one is English, and one is very orderly and controlled. And the other one is a little bit more mad. Probably both fairly mad. How are the kittens, says Frankie. The kittens, just to keep you up to date, I adopted a a kitten, and then she came with a friend. That friend turned out to be a boy. I went on a trip for 3 days. I came back and it seemed that they were not brother and sister. They weren't actually, thankfully, they were not. So now we have a pregnant kitten and we expect kittens maybe in a week or two. Kind of hard to tell, but about a week or two, I think. And we're hoping to have 3 or 4 kittens, which will be very cute. I'll share some pictures and videos with you. Felix says you're wrong with regards to voting. Okay, I stand corrected. I don't know what I'm wrong about, but please tell us. Hood is flying, is it? Hood. Well, I mean, 1% up. I love your enthusiasm. I mean, something is, it's down, it's at present down 35% from the February high. But yes, it's 1% up. I like your optimism. Brilliant. German, do you think Germans wake up in their sleep because it's so like such a harsh language? You know, it is actually quite an, for poetry and literature and stuff, it's actually a good language, just because you can make stuff up, you can make up words. For comedy is actually quite good. Now, that would of course require the Germans to have a sense of humor, which is, you know, fairly rare. But yeah, I wouldn't bother learning it. It's just too complex, honestly. Don't bother. Buy cat food stocks quick. Yes, actually we make our own cat food, so that's not going to help very much. You can vote. No, you can't. You can't vote. No, when you left the country for that long, apparently you cannot. And that means, you know, you have to, if you deregister, which I did when I realized I'd otherwise have to pay German taxes. So I've been deregistered in Germany for 25 years. So therefore I cannot vote. No right to. You lose it 7 years after you deregister. Now, INQ is going up very nicely. Where are your lovely cats? Oh, they don't usually come in here much. This is literally just like mine and Winston's hangouts. They're next door, basically. Now, Eier soll Bruch stellen. Nika, that's a good one. Exactly. That's the fun we have with the German language, isn't it? Mitchell, say happy birthday to your daughter. The wisdom you learned German. Actually, pretty much the only person I speak German to is my trainer, who's in Israel, because he's German, which is kind of ironic, really. That's probably the only 2 hours of German I speak a week. Okay, you guys are making me laugh. Well, if you're born with the English language as your mother tongue, you don't really need to bother with the rest of the world, right? You just speak louder when you go to other countries. So there we are. Markets are, well, not quite as horrible as they were when the market opened, but still not exactly beautiful either. I'll show you the heat map. Here it is. And of course, we're going to have to wait to see what El Presidente announces at 4 p.m. And then undoubtedly, what is the reaction from trading partners and whether that changes any of that in the coming day or so. So I will be, after this, I'm going to go and throw a few tennis balls at Winston, and I'll probably be doing that tomorrow as well. So there is no need to do anything or trade on a day like today. If you haven't hedged yet, it's probably too late. So just chill, go for a walk, enjoy yourself, and learn. Like, take these lulls in market opportunities as opportunities to take that time and learn. Link is down below for the final time. Felix Prehn, get free. Learn the rules that the most successful investors out there use and have been using for literally 50 years. There are only 3. Anybody can learn it. If you're a complete beginner, you can learn it. If you've done this for a while, you can learn it. And I wish you a beautiful day. Loving all the kind messages here in the chat. And if you're wondering why I do this, that's basically why. So Winston and I say, have a beautiful day. Don't watch minute by minute what happens today with tariffs. It won't make you any smarter. It's just going to waste your day away. Instead, go and learn. And thanks for tuning in.